Rockets are cool. There's no getting around that. I would like to die on Mars. Just not on impact. Self-driving cars are the natural extension of active safety, and obviously something we should do. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water. And he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out. I think we are at the dawn of a new era in commercial space exploration. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. The goal of Tesla is to accelerate sustainable energy. So we're going to take a step back and think about what's most likely to achieve that goal. The value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated, no question. But I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. I always invest my own money in the companies that I create. I don't believe in the whole thing of just using other people's money. I don't think that's right. I'm not going to ask other people to invest in something if I'm not prepared to do so myself. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. Great companies are built on great products. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. If something's important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. If you don't have sustainable energy, you have unsustainable energy. The fundamental value of a company like Tesla is the degree to which it accelerates the advent of sustainable energy faster than it would otherwise occur. Life is too short for long-term grudges. The problem is that at a lot of big companies, process becomes a substitute for thinking. You're encouraged to behave like a little gear in a complex machine. Frankly, it allows you to keep people who aren't that smart, who aren't that creative. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. I think there should be regulations on social media to the degree that it negatively affects the public good. Mars is the only place in the solar system where it's possible for life to become multiplanetarian. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. Starting a business is not for everyone. Starting a business, I'd say, number one is have a high pain threshold. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. Brand is just a perception. And perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead. Other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. There's a silly notion that failure's not an option at NASA. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. I do think there should be some regulations on AI. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. The United States is definitely ahead in culture of innovation. If someone wants to accomplish great things, there is no better place than the US. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. If you're entering anything where there's an existing marketplace against large, entrenched competitors, then your product or service needs to be much better than theirs. It can't be a little bit better, because then you put yourself in the shoes of the consumer. You're always going to buy the trusted brand unless there's a big difference. Physics is really figuring out how to discover new things that are counterintuitive, like quantum mechanics. It's really counterintuitive. If I'm not in love, if I'm not with a long-term companion, I cannot be happy. I think you should always bear in mind that entropy is not on your side. To make an embarrassing admission, I like video games. That's what got me into software engineering when I was a kid. I wanted to make money so I could buy a better computer to play better video games. Nothing like saving the world. I've actually not read any books on time management. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something inspiring, even if it is vicarious. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office. And it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. I think there are more politicians in favor of electric cars than against. There are still some that are against, and I think the reasoning for that varies depending on the person. But in some cases, they just don't believe in climate change. They think oil will last forever. We can't have, like, willy-nilly proliferation of fake news. That's crazy. You can't have more types of fake news than real news. That's allowing public deception to go unchecked. That's crazy. I've been to Disneyland, like, 10 times. I'm getting really tired of Disneyland. A company is a group organized to create a product or service. And it is only as good as its people and how excited they are about creating. I do want to recognize a ton of super talented people. I just happen to be the face of the companies. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. We're already cyborgs. Your phone and your computer are extensions of you. But the interface is through finger movements or speech, which are very slow. For all the supporters of Tesla over the years, and it's been several years now, and there have been some very tough times, I'd just like to say thank you very much. I deeply appreciate the support, particularly through the darkest times. I think you should always bear in mind that entropy is not on your side. I tend to approach things from a physics framework, and physics teaches you to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. If you go back a few hundred years, what we take for granted today would seem like magic. Being able to talk to people over long distances, to transmit images, flying, accessing vast amounts of data like an oracle. These are all things that would have been considered magic a few hundred years ago. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. If you like this video, share with us the best piece of wisdom or quote that has impacted you or caught your attention. Your next piece of wisdom might be an inspiration to everyone.